Hi everyone. Today's video is very special because we are going to talk about one of the greatest businessmen India has ever seen. He is the man who laid the foundation of one of the biggest company in the world, known today as the Tata Group. The person I am talking about is none other than Mr. Jamsetji Tata. While many of us know about the Tata's family philanthropic work, but not many know about the business strategies that made Tata Group such a huge success. So in this video, we will be talking about two important things. What was the Jamshetji Tata's business strategies and how did he start Tata Group during British Raj? This story begins in 1858 in India when the British Raj had just taken control over the East India Company. At this time, the world was going through a textile revolution and the cotton industry was booming. America was the biggest supplier of cotton, producing it cheaply using the slave labor. But in 1861, the American Civil War broke out, stopping the export of American cotton. Because of this, Britain turned to India. India has fertile land to grow the cottons and strategic seaport for shipping it. So the Britain started buying Indian cotton under its government control. In 1860, India supplied 31% of Britain imports, but in 1862, this shot up to 90%. This marked the beginning of Indian cotton revolution. Even after the Civil War has ended, Indian cotton industry continued to supply 67% of Britain cotton imports. During this time, Jamsetji's father Nusarwanji Tata was a trader and Jamsetji was helping him. He observed what was happening in cotton industry. In 1869, he brought a bankrupt oil mill in Chinchpokli and converted it into a cotton mill and sold it for a profit within 2 years. This was the first lesson in the cotton industry. This experience taught him the essentials of cotton industry. But before diving into the main business, Jamsetji decided to do a thorough market analysis. So he took trip to England to study the latest advancement in cotton industry. He realized that the West was at least 100 years ahead as compared to the East in terms of technology and civilization. He traveled to important destinations like Egypt, Syria, Palestine, Turkey and Russia to study their business ecosystems. Jamsetji realized India had all the key elements to build a cotton empire. We had coal mines for energy, a large population of labor and fertile land to grow cotton and a strategic seaport connecting India to the world. In 1869, something amazing happened. The opening of Suez Canal. Before the Suez Canal, ships from Europe to Asia had to take long routes, but the canal cut through the land connecting the Mediterranean Sea directly to the Red Sea. This reduced the distance from Bombay to London by 7,000 kilometers and the travel time by 23 days each way. This made India port extremely valuable. However, India lacked an organized enterprise to process cotton. Bombay had 15 mills, but they are all outdated with preventive machinery and poorly constructed buildings and unskilled labor. After 6 years of study, Jamsetji Tata decided to solve this problem by setting up high-quality cotton mill that could sell world-class cotton. While Bombay was the obvious choice for starting a cotton mill business because of its proximity to the port, Jamsetji chose a remote location, 800 kilometers away, called Nagpur. People laughed at his idea, saying it was foolish, even though the financier refuses to give him loan because they didn't see the potential in mill being built in Nagpur instead of Bombay. But Jamsetji knew something they didn't, the potential of railways. He had seen how powerful railways were in Britain. After an extensive survey, he found that Nagpur was in a cotton producing district close to coal supplies from Bandra and the center of large handloom industry. So in 1877, the Central Indian Spinning, Weaving and Manufacturing Company, also known as the Empress Mill, was founded by Jamsetji Tata. He also invested heavily to get the best machinery all around the world. Shipping machinery was a huge challenge back then. It took 4 months to get the machinery from Europe to India, and they didn't have trailer trucks, just a bullock cart. But with lots of effort, the machinery finally arrived and the mill started operating. However, Jamsetji faced another major challenge, managing the workers. The people of Nagpur were not used to industry culture of Bombay, and the most workers didn't consider it important to come to the factory every day. They took leaves for a smallest region. Initially, the mill always operated with only 80% of attendance. Most of industrialists at that time would handle this problem aggressively by firing workers or penalizing them with low attendance. But Jamsetji had different approach. Instead of punishing the worker, he introduced the Provident Fund scheme, ensuring that the worker would have comfortable life after retirement. He also introduced medical insurance to cover the workers' medical cost if they got injured at work. Additionally, he organized family days, sports days and ceremonies where workers' family were rewarded with gold chains, cash prize and more. This was done to build a bond between company and worker, so the attendance improved naturally. And it did. Attendance was no longer a problem, and this boosted both profitability and efficiency of Empress Mill. This was the Jamsetji Tata's greatness and generosity during the time when workers were often treated poorly. Now with all the competition in cotton industry, from the US to Europe, what made Jamsetji Tata stand out? The answer lies in research and innovation. Jamsetji was passionate about advancement and invested heavily in research and innovation. He spent months traveling to Europe to study the market. On one such trip, in 1883, his technical expert James saw ring frames being used in US and immediately sent them back to the mill in Nagpur for trial. These frames were untested by investors themselves, but Jamsetji believed in their potential. He also insisted that the entire mill will be equipped with this technology, and the results were extraordinary. While they normally achieve 6,000 revolution with this new idea, they achieved 9,000 to 12,000 revolution in no time. This increased the company's profits and dividend went up to 16%, with shareholder earning close to 18 lakh rupees in next 30 years, a huge amount equivalent to over 100 crores today. This is how, through extensive study and continuous innovation, the Empress Mill became one of the most profitable company in India. But Jamsetji Tata didn't stop there. Even in his last days, he worked hard, set up a steel plant in India so that country could benefit from the global steel revolution. He also built a Swadeshi mill as a contribution to India's independence struggle, even before the Swadeshi movement began. What's more amazing is that Jamsetji Tata donated so much of his wealth. When adjusted for inflation, his donation was $102 billion today, more than the Bill Gates contribution. This makes him the most philanthropic person of 28th century. These are just some of the many reasons why Jamsetji Tata considered one of the greatest businessmen. Finally, what lessons we can learn from Jamsetji Tata? First, market research is very crucial. In starting a business, Jamsetji spent 6 years studying the market, which helped him to build Tata Group Foundation. Second, every century has industry that can offer great opportunity for entrepreneur. By keeping track of major events in history, you can tap on these opportunities and build a successful business. For Jamsetji Tata, it was his understanding of railways and opening of Suez Canal that helped him to see the potential of cotton industry. Lastly, empathy and compassion are the qualities that can elevate an extraordinary person to the greatness. In Jamsetji Tata's case, they helped to create one of the greatest businessmen and the most generous philanthropist India has ever seen. That's all for the video. I hope you learned something valuable. Thank you.